Hey, good morning. My name is Buff Grace, and I'm here with a message from Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light. I have a little slideshow to offer. I'm going to bring that up now. I want to say a big thank you to Pastor Dan and Pastor Kelly, Wally Wad, and other leaders who have made it possible for me to be here this morning. Thank you. Minnesota IPL is an organization that works with congregations across the state to respond to the climate crisis. This morning, I'm going to give a story and a brief message, talk a little bit about how Minnesota IPL responds to the climate crisis and ways that you can get involved. When I turned 19, I got my first vehicle, a 1984 Honda Accord. Soon after, I packed it full of my belongings and drove off to college. And almost as soon as I got to college, in the middle of North Carolina, I packed it full of gear and I headed off to the Blue Ridge Mountains. That would be the first of many trips to come. West Virginia to whitewater kayak, the Okefenokee Swamp to go canoeing, Washington, D.C. for a conference, out to the Outer Banks to lie in the sun and swim in the surf. And that was just the first year. As the months went by, I would drive the Jersey Turnpike up to New York City, up the Hudson, over the Adirondacks, and into Montreal. I'd go across the Ozarks, dusty Texas, all the way to Colorado, then over the Rockies, traverse Utah and Nevada, down to Southern California, and all the way down the Mexico Baja. The bayous of Louisiana, the bluegrass of Kentucky, the Amish country of Ohio. I skipped a lot of classes, and I even lost a couple of girlfriends because I just wasn't around that much. And when I burned up that old Honda, I bought a little truck and I just kept going. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the sandhills of Nebraska, the reservation lands of the Dakotas. I drove through the Sonoran and the Chihuahuan deserts, Wyoming rangeland, Idaho Rockies. By the time I was 25, I had been to 46 states. Well, I had been to a lot of roads in 46 states. Actually, my life was a wide horizon that I kept chasing. So many of my photos from those days are of the horizon, literally. Stuff that 4x6 snapshots couldn't capture or make sense of. Sunsets in distant mountains, huge cliffs, deep gorges, vast deserts, and empty canyons. And to be honest, I was somewhat vast and empty myself. I had sailed through thousands of miles of territory, and I didn't really even know my own backyard. So it was comforting recently when I realized that after 25 years, I've slowed down. I've spent some of the weeks that we've been sequestered at the stay-at-home COVID time rifling through old photos. And I noticed that the photos of my more recent trips don't grasp at the landscape. Instead, they aim at things that are smaller and closer. Please enjoy some silence as I shuffle through some of these photos. Jesus came back small and close, much smaller and closer than the world would have advised him to. I've wondered about that. Have you ever wondered about that? I mean, after all, he had destroyed death. He was resurrected. He could have come back huge and mighty. He could have walked right through the whole Roman garrison and pulled Pilate up short and said, "I told you so." He could have had all those who betrayed him grovel at his feet. But he didn't do that. He completely ignores the big and mighty. He shows up for his friends. He forgives them. He unlocks their doors. He surprises them on the beach with roasted fish for breakfast. Isn't that gentle? Isn't that so tender and yet so powerful at the same time? It seems to me that we are not following in those footsteps. Our society seems to have accrued power massive to rival resurrection, and then we've used that power to run ourselves near death. We've chased horizons like unbridled economic growth and unlimited fossil energy and massive surplus food systems. And yet, a large portion of our world is hungry and impoverished, and the climate crisis is upon us. We've gone all the way to the moon, but we don't really even know our own natural backyard. I read recently that Pastor Dan's favorite quote comes from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. "The ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world it leaves to its children." Wow, that's beautiful and wise. The ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world it leaves to its children. What kind of world are we leaving to our children? At MNIPL, we're working to leave our children a just, healthy, and abundant world. We and our partner congregations like you are working to solve the climate crisis because the climate crisis threatens to leave a world to our children that is inhabitable. We have hope that we can turn human ingenuity and intelligence and creativity, all that human power, and most of all, human faith, to efforts that reharmonize humans with the planet. We do that in two primary ways. As you can see here, one of those ways is leadership programs. We train people to be leaders in the climate crisis. Our staff give talks that teach people about the climate crisis and help them connect with their heart and hope. We train others to lead those talks. You can be trained to lead those talks. We organize and develop youth leaders for the climate crisis, and we help them network together to build relationships with one another. Finally, we build networks of people across all different types of faith to work together for the climate. Secondly, we help people of faith take action. We work with church environmental teams to craft action plans that work for your community. We offer an easy-to-follow online program for households to reduce their carbon footprint. We help congregations install solar arrays on their campus buildings, and we help households do the same for their homes. We connect faithful people across the state to statewide actions, such as the Protector Movement against Line 3. This pipeline expansion project is the equivalent of adding 50 coal-burning power plants to Minnesota's economy in terms of greenhouse gases. It's one we really have to stop. The Grove has been a sustaining member of Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light for some time, and I know you're active in many ways for caring for creation. We hope our partnership continues, and if you haven't been involved, we hope you'll jump in to one of these many ways to get involved. Talk with Wally Wadd and others who lead the environmental team and see how you can get involved at the Grove. And today I want to make a special invitation to our Earth Day celebration. You can find out about it by going on our website there. You see under the Take Action tab, second one down, Earth Day 2020. Click on that and it'll give you all the information. It's this Wednesday, April 22nd at 1 p.m. Hundreds of people of faith across the state are coming together with this live stream to celebrate the Earth and honor the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Pastors, priests, imams, rabbis, and all kinds of faith leaders will be giving short faith messages. And people of all different ages will be telling stories about their connection to the planet and their connection to climate justice. That's this Wednesday beginning at 1 o'clock. Find us on the website and sign up, or find us on Facebook and join our live stream. Thank you so much for inviting me to be with you today. Really appreciate it. If you're working for the climate crisis, continue the work you're doing. And if you're new, well, welcome aboard. We need everybody involved to solve this crisis in our world. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get going. Thank you to the Grove for being part of that.